Hey, what's up? It's Lewis from the Crypto Beginner here. And in case you missed it, the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the CFTC, which is the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, yes, I'm reading it, they had a meeting today at the US Senate and it involved cryptocurrencies. And to be honest, I and a lot of people were actually really worried about this because we're thinking, oh man, it's the government. They probably don't like cryptocurrencies. It's not going to be good. All of this fear and uncertainty and doubt. But guess what? It happened and there was nothing but positivity. It was really, really good. It was great news. The best news about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and everything like that, literally all week, probably all month, to be honest. So what I'm going to do is I found a clip and it basically summarizes the entire meeting in about 2 minutes. So I'll play that clip for you. And this clip has the CFTC chairman, Christopher Giancarlo, talking about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and his view on it. And he has become just an overnight sensation, like a halo over the cryptocurrency movement because he is so of what he said in the meeting. So I'll play that clip and then I'll go over a few more things to help just summarize it and all of the key points that was actually said.
So putting aside Bitcoin or other kinds of cryptocurrencies that are based on blockchain or distributed ledger technology, what are your thoughts on the potential value of that underlying technology of blockchain and distributed ledger technology, both to enterprises and consumers and perhaps to government agencies?
It's important to remember that if there were no Bitcoin, there would be no distributed ledger technology. It grew out of that technology initiative. And the potential applications, and by the way, I'm no pie in the sky dreamer. I just report what I read, but the applications range from enormous potential in financial services industry, in the banking industry, but right down to the way charity dollars are spent, the way perhaps refugees are accounted for across the globe. There was an article just this morning about the use of distributed ledger technology for 2.5 billion people around the world who don't have access to banking services. One of the areas that in our own area of agriculture futures, 66 million tons of American soybeans were just handled through a blockchain transaction by the Dreyfus Company for sale to China. So Bitcoin is now being used. It's used in our American transportation and logistics system. And most importantly, the potential of distributed ledger technology for regulators to be able to do really close market surveillance. And if it had been available in 2008, if we had been able to see the counterparty credit exposure of one bank to another bank in real time with precision, that would have enabled much more precise policy choices that had to be made in a rush without good data. So I think distributed ledger technology has got an enormous potential. Now, how it will be realized, when it will be realized, what are the other challenges in it, those we can't say, but the potential seems extraordinary.
Thank you. Mr. Clayton?
I agree that the potential seems very significant. And just look around anywhere in our economy where verification and record keeping has cost that is potentially reduced is an opportunity for this technology. That's just one of them, and I hope people pursue it vigorously.
Okay, so that was obviously awesome, and there are a few more points that happened that were said within the meeting, and these are the other things that Christopher actually said. He said that his kids were not interested in stocks, okay, but they are hooked on cryptocurrencies. How true is that? And the government has to respect that and develop a positive outlook. The second thing he said was that while scams and fraudsters, they must be cracked down, the general market must be allowed to develop. When he was asked if cryptocurrencies have any intrinsic value, he said that there is an intrinsic value and relation of the value of Bitcoin to the cost of mining it. So he did plant that similarity between Bitcoin and gold, which was really, really cool. And he said that the price of Bitcoin is just one publicly traded company like McDonald's. And he said that in comparison, global money supply is $7.6 trillion. And since Bitcoin has been compared to digital gold, that the value of gold in the world is $8 trillion. So that's another comparison to gold. And wow, what a bullish statement, saying that, well, gold is worth $8 trillion. Bitcoin right now is worth, a few $billions. So obviously there is a long way for Bitcoin to go. And that I bought, and I definitely bought more after he said that. The other thing, holy shit, okay. He mentioned hodl. He actually mentioned HODL. He said that according to him, it was the hold on for dear life. I don't know if that's really the meaning, but that's what he said. And he literally said, HODL, which is awesome. And obviously there was a lot of talk on, cracking down on the fraudsters and the scammers. They said that we must crack down hard on those who are abusing our youngsters and young enthusiasm for Bitcoin and blockchain technology, and we owe it to this new generation to respect their interest in this new technology with a thoughtful regulatory approach. So they are not banning it, they are not coming against it, they are working with it, which is amazing. And I feel that because of that, America is really going to be at the forefront of cryptocurrencies, I guess outside of Japan, because it reminds me a lot of this analogy that I heard from Andreas Antonopoulos in his book, The Internet of Money, where he compared Bitcoin to cars and automobiles. And the first automobiles were created in England. And what happened was that they were delegated or relegated to the elite, super weird, eccentric who wanted like these crazy machines, and in newspapers and all over the place, they would say, oh, look at these automobiles, they're death traps, they run people down, they break down, horses are way better than these weird automobiles. And what they did was they put a ban, not necessarily a ban on automobiles, but they made it a law that you had to have 3 people inside of the automobile. One person being the driver, another person overseeing the operations, and a third person to run in front of the car and wave a flag to make sure that like everyone was safe and stuff. And because England did that, they ended up losing the race on automobiles, even though they had a huge advantage to begin with, because they had the steam engine first, they had all of these things first, and because of that, America was able to completely own the automotive industry. And I feel like this might actually happen with Bitcoin, so I'm super stoked. I really wish that people could, in America, invest into ICOs, but apparently, they're trying to really make sure that no one gets screwed off of that, and whatever, if that's the case, you can't participate in ICOs. But overall, the sentiment was good. And also in the middle of the meeting, one of the senators was actually constantly bashing banks and, talking about how there were like 80 plus violations in the recent years, or in 5 or 10 years or something like that. And lastly, there were 0 mentions of drug dealings with Bitcoin and cryptos. And also 0 times were terrorists mentioned in this actual meeting. They basically just talked about how they can start to combat illegal activity that's being used in the crypto sphere. But that was it, and wow, that's awesome. So I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. Always talk to a financial advisor with anything. But I'm just saying that, in my opinion, this was such good news that I feel like the market will turn around, and it actually already has turned around, at least for the last 12 hours or so. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of range-bound up and downs that is overall bullish, and it's gonna, instead of being like straight up like it was back in November, December, and then straight down in January, I feel like it's gonna go like this, and then go like boom, 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 and just a steady rise up until some big news happens or something like that, and then I feel like it's going to take another turn and go upward before coming down and repeating the cycle again. So those are my thoughts. It's really good news. If you're as stoked about this as I am, give this video a thumbs up. Greatly appreciated. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check out some other videos. Let's get to the moon together, and I'll see you in the next video.